Welcome to another live Moon video. If you don't know, I am Nick Moon, and along with Jenny, my wife, and our beautiful family, we run what is called Legacy of Legends, which strives to put a protection in place for the elite equine athletes so that no horse should be forgotten or discarded after their years of service and their dedication to the sport. It's what we're very passionate about. It is what defines us, and it's what we are, together with the people that support us. You guys, or people that are watching now, hopefully will get on board, get those numbers up so that we can get some law legislation over the line and put things in place for the future of the sport, and also more importantly for these beautiful animals. So we've been very, very lucky to be in the position we're in, to have the lovely support we've got, and some real, it's like a big extended family all over the world. Where we are, we have the menagerie of what are our extended family, turkeys, as you can hear in the background. We've got sheep, we've got goats, we've got dogs, we've got cats who've crossed our path, many of who are rescues that found themselves in a tricky situation, and we've taken them under our wings. So it's very, very rewarding. I'm standing here with the lovely Grace, who you may not know. We rescued her and little Loty, who's behind me. It was probably, it's actually 2 weeks tomorrow, and they were on the front line ready to go to the slaughterhouse. They were with a guy who they call, not an agent, a merchant. Thank you, Jenny, for that. A merchant. They were with the merchant ready to go. He's the go-between guy. And yeah, both of them have been competed. This lovely horse, Grace, she's a Self-Francais mare, so she's a national French horse. She was competed. She has a history, and bless her little cotton socks, obviously deserved far better than where she was going. And that's what we're striving to try and change, is we want to put those systems in place which have been done in other parts of the equestrian world with regards to the racehorses, and they've made big steps, but we need to now look at the other elite sports, which is dressage, show jumping, loping or reining in America, and all those which come under the umbrella of the FEI. But yeah, what a lovely rewarding thing to see these guys, both of them, pick up. They've all had a haircut, they've had a lovely wash, and it's just been really, really lovely to see them come alive. And that's part of a really big part of what we do, is just being able to watch them really come out of themselves. And with her, it's really interesting because obviously she's very, very relaxed. And the other day Jenny was worried because she was flat out in the stable and with her legs stretched out, and not so we thought it was the end, but it was one of those, oh, what's happening? But it's just that she'd gone, it's going to be okay. And that's something which, you know, with your support, and with we have beautiful patrons that help us and support us, and with everyone's support and just the loving and the sharing makes that possible, and she can definitely feel it. So yes, she's switched off, yes, she's relaxed. They both know Loty's a little bit hardier. She's quite a tough little cookie, and I think she's kept an eye out for Grace all these years. But yeah, it's been lovely just to see them just have that, breathe that sigh of relief and know that they're okay. And as I said before, it is from obviously the moment we put the head collar on and we brought them home, which we're going to go and show you some of the other guys that are here that are with us. And our vision, for want of a better word, is that we can't obviously have thousands of horses, all these horses brought back to our farm, as much as I'd love to have every in the public eye. So through social media, through all those different media platforms, we can keep these legends alive. So if you ever saw, if you went to an event or you've ever seen a horse, you think, oh, I wonder what happened to, let's say, Grace when she won that big competition. This year in France, Paris, the Olympics, there will be the Olympians, these top horses. The question is, what happens to them after they've won their gold medal or otherwise? And they're all in the top few percent in the world. So you will see this year all those equestrian events. If you go there, if you're lucky enough to see it in person, you can appreciate the efforts, but you can also, you'll be able to get a feeling if you get it on however it's streamed to you guys, obviously on the internet or whatever, you'll get a feeling for just how prolific and how high profile the sport is. And there are lots of lots of examples of that, but the question is what then? And that's where we come in, and with systems in place, Legacy of Legends, enter Legacy of Legends, it's okay because there are these things in place. So no horse will be forgotten. You can go at any time, go onto a database and see. If you want to see where Grace is, there'll be an update because we do YouTube, but if it was someone in America, Canada, doesn't matter, Timbuktu, you can always find out what happens. Those horses are tracked and they are traced. So that's really part of it. As I say, it'd be lovely to have every horse that needed us come here. But in reality, that isn't possible. But what is possible is to do what we're going to do. And with the numbers, that's something which we speak of a lot. And it's all about getting those numbers on board. So in the old days, if you wanted to create law change, where I came from was in England, Great Britain, and you'd have to get 100,000 signatures, and you'd have to then have you go banging the tin in the street with your sandwich board on and Legacy of Legends, the world's changed, it's moved on, and in lots of ways it's it's just fantastic that we have the platform available to us to spread the word. It was a lot harder back then in lots of respects, but we can circumnavigate, as I said before in an earlier video, which you'll be able to see on our history. What I spoke about was there's a federation that control the world of elite equine athletes. They are responsible for the riders, the horses. They are called the FEI, the Federation Equestrian International. They're the people that we are going to go to affect the change, because they are responsible for every elite sport horse. When a horse is in a career and someone thinks enough of that horse to want it to be competed abroad or competed internationally or to represent their country, they need to go to their association in the different countries. They approach them, they put a case forward, and the association approve it. The FEI then issue the passport. So they are the people responsible, and we talk a lot about in life, people being responsible and accountable. It is very, very easy to create what we're asking, and we're not pointing the finger. This is not a name and shame, and we're going for the better, for the future. We're going for the positivity. We're going for a brighter outlook for all these all these equine athletes. There is just no virtue in singling out. People have done what they've done. Let's try and give them a place to go, and let's give the sport a brighter future for all disciplines. So anyway, enough of me going on. Let's go and meet the rest of the other guys. Just give you a little look into what we do. As I said before, it's a menagerie of animals. We have all sorts of animals running about. We've got up there, I think Harold, it's Rhubarb and Custard. This is where they stay, above Grace and Loty's stable. So this is their roost for the night, where they're all perch. And yeah, I'll just take you around and show you who's who. And obviously not forgetting little Loty here. So she came with Grace, as I say. I think she's been her protector. She's a beautiful little pony. She's a Connemara, which is a particular breed of pony, but very, very strong, very, very strong-willed. And yeah, she's really come good. And just her personality, every day you can see her coming out of her shell a bit more, along with Grace. And obviously there is the health side and the nutrition side that they are both picking up, which is really, really positive, because we didn't know, no one knows when they've been that malnourished or in those situations, how long have they been like that, what damage has been caused or anything. But all I can say is, with Jenny doing what she does the best, is those little and often feeds, just that bit of loving or a lot of loving, the right nutrition, the right care, and just knowing that in that environment they're safe. And I think that's something which has really touched us, both Jenny and I, and the family at large, is when you see what trust these animals put in people. It is completely Well, nothing comes close to it. You won't find a person, another human being on the planet that will do what what animals do, which is completely, without question, put their trust in us. And it's so vitally important what we do with it. And that's where the abuse or the taking advantage of their kind nature, their willingness to serve comes from. And I've spoke about it a lot in the past. There is a vlog which we did. We went to a place which is very special to Jenny, to the Somme here in France, and we walked the battlefields from the First World War, and it just goes to illustrate just what a difference the horses made in that situation. But lest we forget, across the whole of life, and as we've evolved, they have been, the world has been made on their backs, and it's just now, because they're not a necessity as well, they just become a bit of a commodity and a bit of a luxury, and that's where the points got missed. And yes, all creatures, all animals should be loved, should be looked after, should have that respect. But more importantly for us, and I think that's something where we do forget what, those great battles were fought on horseback, all those, the logistics before there were cars. A few hundred years ago, we wouldn't, obviously, I wouldn't be having the conversation with you, I wouldn't have the ability to, but if I was in the local tavern saying, oh, my horse has just, I've been 5 days riding on my horse and he's brought this and we've done this, it was just, they were one of us. We were all the same. We were at one with the animals. We were at one. We needed them as much as they needed us, but we needed them, and that was it was a very complementary situation. Of course there were bad situations, of course there's all the good and the bad in everything, but fundamentally we needed them to survive and to be able to do what we're doing, and that's how we've got as far as we have. And as I say, now it just so happens that it is a bit of it's a lifestyle choice. And I used to, when I was back in the UK, and I've trained many people, and I've dealt with lots and lots of very, very difficult stroke dangerous horses, which I think is, for me, it was always very simple. I could see exactly what they needed. I gave them that consistency. I gave them that love, that dependability, and they just rewarded me straight away. I didn't have a problem with making progress with all the horses. That was really, really easy, because it was just all they ever look for is that consistency. They just look for you to be the same person, and that's been the key to our success. And now we're on the other side of it. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get on and meet the guys. So let's go.
We had a FEI article printed in me a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That I'll put a link into this live, hopefully, if I can do that. I've been new to this. But there's a link, and it was an amazing article. And the FEI aren't ruling out anything. They're just, they just...
No, I think that's the thing. They were completely supportive. I think it was, and even they've done a quote, which we have on our website at the legacyoflegends.net or legacyoflegends.co.uk, in full support of what we do. I think the most important thing is giving them a clear plan of what we need to move forward, and that's what we're going to do. But what we want to do first is just have that number, that body of people, so that it's a complete concern for the industry, for everyone, that they take it seriously, that it has that weight that's needed to get it over. As you can see, he's very handsome. He has a wicked story. He's very, very unique, and it's something which we will go into in the future. He has a very exciting career. He had a very exciting career.
He's definitely retired now.
He knows he's on camera, but he's awesome. But he had a very exciting career. He was very, very...
A little bit of homework for you all. Just type into Google Cano Zed.
Yes, and you'll see what a true legend he is. And we are going to share the story with you, which we've said before in our previous videos. We're going to share the story because it's such a big story. It's so critical, and it's a real pivotal point of what we're doing. So, yeah, he's not looking too happy for not having his hay, but
No,
we'll leave him to it. He's he knows what he wants.
He certainly does.
He's a cheeky monkey.
Gene the machine.
Does like an itch there. Yes, and Ginger, well, we'll go to Ginger now. It is night time here, but it is eerily warm. It has been a summer's day, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
It was
It's been 21 today.
21, yeah.
The horses were hot, as was Mummy Moo.
So this is the beautiful Ginger, who I went with Toby, and we went to the Italian or French border, right at the very bottom of France, to rescue her. She was again with a some person, some guy, merchant, whatever you call them, and she was waiting to go to that place. She was actually going to Italy, and we got the nod, we got the call to go and rescue her. So I went with Toby. We drove a long journey. We hired a little horse box and we went and rescued her. But she's such a sweet soul, and she's so giving. She's so full of life, and so she loves it. Charlie's ridden her. I think we got a little video of him jumping her. She's just like full of beans, and yeah, got so much to give. Such a sweet horse. But again, a horse that's been used, has had a career, has given people, like I say, it's that aspiration of what is possible. If you're starting off in horses, or you have a love for horses or a curiosity, and then you get a horse as good as Ginger, if you like, it just opens, oh wow, this is possible. I could be, you know, the best in the world. Like, whatever your aspiration, even if it's just sharing time with them, they give you on another level just that, again, that nice, even, steady keel, that what everyone looks for, that middle ground. And I think it's so that's one of the things we always speak about, is that when they've given, they've changed people's lives, they've made their expectations or their aspirations come true. It's so important to do the right thing. So she's a perfect example, really cheeky. This time of year she's bucking and squealing, and she's been a bit flighty getting her out to the field. As I say, Charlie's ridden her. She enjoys a little bit of exercise. There are those legends who have reached that time when they don't want to be ridden. They've like hung their boots up, as it were. But other horses, I mean, Cantho, I've ridden him bareback. We've taken him down to the woods. We've splashed about in the river and had some really magical moments, and he enjoys that. But to tack him up, putting the saddle and bridle on, he just doesn't. He's not that keen, I should say. Whereas Ginger loves it. She loves going out for a hack and having a mooch about, as does the next horse we're going to show you, who is Magic, who's a very special horse. He's having his din-dins. Hello.
They're very confused this evening because normally they just get to eat.
It's nice and
they're on
quiet.
camera.
Yeah. So this is Magic. He is an Alcateki. He's a golden horse. As you can clearly see, he only has one eye. And that was part and parcel of his past. But now he's fine. You just have to make allowances. As like when I walk round the side, he can get a bit spooked or shocked. But if he knows you're there, he's the kindest, sweetest horse. Very, very special. As you'll see in the summer, when the sun comes out and his coat comes through, he really, I mean, he blossoms. He shimmers. He shimmers in a beauty. It's just unbelievable. He is proper golden. So he's really, really, really good.
He loves an itch. He's
he
biting
does.
Nick because he wants
He
an itch.
does.
Give him a scratch on his back. But that is the teeth. Look at those. He's definitely a character, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think Charlie rode him the other day, didn't he?
Yep,
He
Charlie
likes
takes him
going
out.
out.
Yeah, he goes out for the odd hack. He
He's
really
probably
enjoys
going to
it.
lay down and pin me down and make me scratch him all night. But just that hands-on bit of care, bit of loving goes a long way, because they love it. That's that bit. Yes, between them, you've probably seen, or if you haven't seen in the early videos, and you will see in the future, when they go out, they groom one another, which is a little bit of you'll see them standing, scratching each other, and as they do it, they both help scratch one another, and it's an affection thing. But it's also a part of just contact and a bit of hands-on, which is always good. But you can see here he's got a fluffier coat here, and this is where we clipped his coat off because it was fluffy. But as we said before, what we need to do, especially with the weather, what it's doing now, where it goes from being pretty mild spring, from spring weather to almost a summer's day today, we need to be able to control the temperature. So now he's really warm to touch. You can imagine with a big fluffy coat, as they get older, their efficiency to shed this lovely fluffy coat gets less and less, and that's really, really important. You can see it coming off, and yes, you can groom it and you can do stuff to help it, but actually, what you need to do is get rid of it. So then we can control their temperature. So we can add rugs or take rugs off and just keep that happy medium, and that's so important in the older horses. They just have that little bit, they struggle a bit just to control their body temperature. So something we're aware of, but it also helps what we said before as well. You can see very, very clearly if there's any blemishes, if there's any little, we get ticks here.
Yeah, this time of the year, the ticks are a real issue, aren't they?
So we can see straight away. If I mean, it's clear as anything. You can imagine in here where it's all fluffy. Or is it a bit of mud or is it a tick? Who knows? But here, obviously, you can see straight away. So just helps keep on top of everything. So anyway, that's magic. There'll be plenty more to come from him. Let's get on to the next one. Who's next? It is Max, who's a proper legend. He's started a good few people off in their careers into show jumping. He's very, very special. He's a proper what they call schoolmaster, and schoolmaster is a horse that you can jump on, and when the bell goes or when you start your competition, as long as you're kind of getting him roughly in the right direction, he's going to go from start to finish. And I have been in my life privileged to have a couple of those horses, or a few of those horses when I was starting off, who really showed me the ropes. They took me for a ride, and that's also another what we're saying about how precious it is that they form or they shape what's possible as your career unfolds. So he's really, really cool. He's a proper schoolmaster, as I say. Baby Oscar, our littlest, if you don't know him, he's only this big, but he'd look after him, and he's very, very special. So yeah, he's a good horse. Again, all of these stories we'll tell the stories.
His very original owner got in contact, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she was just amazed that we had him, loves him to pieces. Obviously sold him through circumstance and just is thrilled, and she supports us now and sends him gifts and sends all the legends gifts, and it's incredible.
And I think that's one of the bits where what I was touched on in the very, very opening of it all is, it's not, people's situation change. People do the right thing at that moment, they find them a good home, or circumstances change, someone is bereaved, something happens, situations change. That's fine. That's life. But what we're doing is putting systems in place so that when that happens, it's not somebody's fault. It's just life, and we need to, future-proof it. So anyway, that's what we're doing. He's really cool, and as we said before, we'll introduce you to them individually, and we're going to do a bit more. We're going to go a bit more in depth into each of their stories as time prevails. So. Moving on this way, there is the one and only Epanda Fouque, who is the instigator. He's the main man. He was the start of it all. When we came across Epanda, we had no idea who he was at all. Keep it nice and simple. Yeah, we didn't have a clue, but we did have his passport, and we had his purple passport, the FEI passport. And when we put his name into the internet, you can do it too, Epanda Fouquet, we were completely blown away by, we had the ultimate warrior, the ultimate soldier. What a true legend of the sport, and of just, yeah, it was just unbelievable. And to watch him come back and come alive, and we spent some great times together. I've ridden him, I've jumped him, I've been privileged enough to be able to, at the time when he was active, a few years ago now, I jumped him and we had really good times. He's been out hacking. Used to go down to the local village. I took him. He's been to the beach. We've been swimming. We've had some really wonderful times, and he's been so kind. Here, I think Charlie's ridden him out, hasn't he? So taking him out hacking,
yeah,
and we've
all the kids have ridden him.
You've ridden him.
I've ridden him.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, no, and he's really cool. He's been so pivotal in everything we're doing, and such a brilliant example of why it is we do what we do. His
lovely owner, we're in touch with her. I spoke to her yesterday.
Yeah, literally yesterday, Pearl Moore, who put many thousands of pounds into the equestrian industry and supported him and his riders, some of who are in the top few in the world now, and also support us, which we're very grateful for. It's just been a real roller coaster with him, and he's such a flagship, and yeah, I just love it if he was going to live forever. But he's with us now.
He's 32 this year.
He's hanging out. He's still hanging out. Yeah, no, he's cool. He's strong, and he's actually, we're just saying, because of it, you never know how they're going to be the next year or in the season, and spring's come and he's got the lovely round bum and he's filled out and he's proper happy. So it's just been lovely to see him again, year in, year out, come good. Winter is a hard time, as we know, for everyone. Doesn't matter how much you rug them up, how much you protect them, how much you mollycoddle them, it's still hard. It's still, on the older horses, it just takes it out of them. So it's just lovely to see them when the weather changes.
But what was interesting with him, wasn't it, babe? When when we first took him on, he wasn't coping with retirement at all, and he sort of locked into himself, didn't he? There was no emotion. He'd completely gone. You know, he was just sort of living. He wasn't thriving.
Yeah.
And it was actually at the time that we got the iPad out, didn't we? And we found him on YouTube, and we happened to be standing in the stable with a friend of ours, and we just happened to play. He'd been with us a good month, and we'd had nothing. I mean, he was eating and he was drinking, but there wasn't really there was no life in him. And you start to question whether it's a life at all. And Nick and I were at a point where we were thinking, you know, is this okay? Or, you know, maybe we should do the kindest thing for him and let him go, because he just wasn't okay. And anyway, we found him on this YouTube clip and jumping the puissance wall. And do you know what? This horse, when he heard the crowd, we were in his stable and the crowd cheered and the commentator shouted, Epanda Fouquet, and the rider's name, and he came alive. He lifted his head, his ears came forward, and I don't think I've ever cried so much, because it was at that point that I realised just how important this was. And at that point we made him a promise, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why we uprooted and we left our beautiful home with your mum, didn't we, and stepfather?
Yeah.
And we moved to France because we felt Europe was the best place to base the charity, and we moved out here because of Eplan. He made us change our country because we wanted to do the right thing for these horses.
And given the fact that when you look at going to the Italian border, going to the Belgian border for Cinderella,
yeah, she's passed now,
although it's we are very handily placed for being able to push it forward, and equally to be able to promote it and to be able to be current. So in the future we're looking to be able to go to events, and I can get a bit more up close and personal with organisers and riders, and just get it over the line and be there. And Europe gives us that great opportunity, but it also gives us the beautiful environment we're in now and the space that we've got, so that they can live out their days, which is fantastic.
Got a little set of eye, look lie through there.
There's little Liv.
Over here. There she is. Hello, little Liv. This is little Liv. This is Epeland's wife.
Yeah.
They love each other very, very much.
They do, and
They have moments, don't they? They were like, had enough. I don't talk to her anymore.
they
She's
do,
gonna
but
walk
I
away.
can't believe how strong little Liv is.
I know.
She's a warrior.
She's 33 years old.
But that's yeah, and she was one of those again, another horse pony. Sorry, she's been in the public eye. She went to some very prestigious shows, and she's competed at a very high level at showing, and she was used to breed from after her career.
Oh, hang on. Being
And
taken out.
she ended up with the other, I think it was 15 other ponies that Jenny rescued when we were back in the UK, and yeah, just amazing how sturdy and steadfast she's come through. She's come good, and again, she's one of the. We did a little bit. I did an introduction. I think it was Little Liv's story when I was down in the field, but we can expand a bit more as time goes on, and yeah, give you guys a real insight into the bigger picture. But for now, it's all good. She's well happy, and she loves being with Epland and where she is, so it's all good.
Right, one more.
Yeah.
Let's go. We won't go and show you the herd because we've got 21 hectares to try and find them in.
Yeah, I can't go running. I haven't got my trainers on.
We'll have to do that another day.
There's Holly.
So the herd, oh, there's Holly.
Holly with her little
out.
tongue sticking out. Oh, bless her.
You all right, darling? Good girl. So Holly suffered, didn't she?
Holly suffered massively.
So Holly suffered in the most horrific way. She was an RSPCA case, and we'd worked a lot with the RSPCA in the UK, and
That's a good link. So the rescue case with the 15 ponies ended up with
us taking on Holly.
basically, but there was a guy that came out with the big fancy lapels and the hat, the chief man, whoever it was at the time, and through that situation, we met one of the young girls or ladies who was one of the local RSPCA wardens, who also came and used to jump at the equestrian centre, and she, off the back of all that connection, she said there's a dog and she's in a horrible way, in a horrible state. She'd been buried in a shallow grave, and she hasn't got she's got not a little bit of her tongue's missing. She had broken hips, she had a broken shoulder, and she's a little bit she loves the simpler things in life, but she is very, very sweet, and we look after her and we protect her, but she is the sweetest dog ever, and she's very special, I think is the expression. So yes, that's Holly, and she's living the good life.
Ryan's best friend.
Right, one more. So we're now going up to the stables, which were...
So that's not Cinder's. Cinder's left us, bless her heart. But couldn't fit of a more fitting horse to be in the stable with him. There you go.
Right, this is... I say the stallion, but he's not. He was gelded. He's called Stas, but he is the horse who was with Epeland, with Pearl, his old owner. And after we got Epeland, I helped Pearl. She unfortunately lost her husband, and therein lies the whole story of Epeland and what transpired. But she also had Buddy, is his name.
He's got lots of names.
Um,
Stas the stallion and Buddy.
I helped her move. I borrowed a horse box, and we took her other horses which she could have at home. But she asked us if we could have him, and we were delighted to be able to give him a home. And he truly has been. He's a gentle soul. He was a stallion when he came, but so he could live out his life. The problem, obviously, having all those urges that stallions or horses with everything going on, it's very hard for them to live a life where they can integrate and really be sociable with other horses, because there's just one thing on their mind. So he had the chop, and since then he's been able to go out, and he goes out and he mingles, and he has a much more yeah, much more sociable life and a much better existence because he's able to, and it's not a stressful environment. So it was really good to be able to do that. For it to be successful at a later stage in life, it's quite a tricky thing to do, but he's come good, and now he's yeah, now he's very content, and as I say, he wanders about. He's one of the ones also where we can, Jenny lets him out.
He's a free ranger.
He's a free ranger. We've got quite a few lone rangers here.
Magic and Stas.
Every now and then, I think when Nanny Buck, Jenny's mum, was here, she did come out, or she looked out of her bedroom window and said, "Oh, there's a couple of horses wandering about. Is that okay?" And that is okay. We have lots of lots of bits and pieces. We don't have any garden space. We just have areas where they can roam. So it's been really lovely to open it up and for them all to be able to, yeah, just really go where they want, do what they want, and they're very good at.
Yeah, they thrive on it, don't they?
They're good at keeping those little areas down, and it's variety. That's the other thing for horses at this time in their life. Just having lots of stuff going on. So with the kids and the turkeys and all the bits and bits, there's always stuff going on. It's pretty mad here, which is good.
Yeah, it keeps them mentally stimulated, and I think that's a really big thing that I find with the older horses, especially when we've had horses here that have just been retired to us, but we've also had horses that are rescue cases, as you've seen with Grace and Charlotte. And the mental, I almost feel that the mental torture is harder than the fact that, obviously not eating, they can they deal with that, but mentally it must be so difficult to, it took quite a while for them to actually accept food and be able to eat like normal horses. They mentally, they'd switched off, and I think that's a really important part of what we're doing, is to give them back their stimulation, because their lives are, they're used to that stimulation. They're not used to just standing around.
I think as well, we did touch on it before, maybe I think in the first live that I did, and we have said it in a few of the videos, but just to reiterate it, they are celebrities in their own right. And when you look online, if you see Canto or you see Epanda and you see it, they go in and the crowd's going mad and there's thousands of people and there's all the spotlights and the cameras, and then they do the interviews afterwards. They are, as I say, they are celebrities, and I know it's hard for anyone, we've said, to retire, but when you've been a celebrity and all we know as an elite athlete, which I said before, there aren't those systems in place. In some sports there are, and there's a much more of an awareness nowadays of the mental health, and that just goes, I think it is forgotten with the horses who have been in those positions, because they do struggle. I'm not saying you can say they struggle more, but I think they must find it when they've had that intensive lifestyle. They haven't just been not a hobby horse. That's right. It's just one of those things where they've had that.
Yeah, but the Cantho, he's been on aeroplanes.
Yeah.
He's been on 24-hour journeys. He's been all over the world, and then suddenly that just stops.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they find hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? That scratching, if you can hear it, is Grace kicking and scratching her bowl because
More.
she wants more food.
She's just had dinner, but she's going to get what they do. They have a late night feed as well.
And that's
But
what they're waiting
sneakily,
for.
they have a quiet one, so none of at the moment they're still on the little and often, so the others don't get pestered. But one of the things we do here, we've got a bucket here, which is, that would have been little nuts. They're green nuts. They're lucerne, so they're grass nuts. And Jenny soaks them, and they can just pick through them. So it's really good. And as you can see, I mean, they pick through it eventually, but it's a really, really good source for them. And it means that they've always got full bellies, and that's another really important part of life is, not being hungry, not having that horrible feeling. Again, thank you to all you guys and the support we've been getting and the support we're having from the patrons and everyone. It's just made it so much better. But yeah,
she's really kicking that.
I think
bowl.
we need to go and
she's
finish
ready.
them up.
She knows the times. But I'm going to just say we've had quite a few comments asking where Harold and Roger are, so we're going to take you around and show you how Harold and Roger. Hold on a minute. Here they are. Hold on a second. It's coming down the. Yes, we're coming. Here they are. Oh. Hello, boys. So we've had a couple of days of like, you know, it's been 21 here, so it's been quite hot, and they're not used to it. So we've been trying to keep them cool. But
This
here they
is their
are.
little love shack.
This is their little house in here. This is where they live. They've got their water there, and they have a couple of food buckets here. But obviously these turkeys were bred for meat, so they eat a lot. So they are on a bit of a diet, just because they are very, very big turkeys. And having done my research, I don't want them to end up with problems with their legs and goodness knows what. So they have lots of greens and quite a lot of exercise.
But we've noticed as well that they are a lot more mobile now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, a lot more mobile.
So when they first came, they were
could barely move.
proper steady and just waddled around. Now, wherever you go, however you get there on the place, if you look behind you, they're there.
They are.
They're rapid.
They can jump as now.
And
they
flap.
Can jump.
They fly.
Yeah.
Little flights.
Little tiny ones. They can jump about a foot up. So yeah, so we've got the bigger one here is Harold. This is Harold. And Roger is just standing at the back there. But what's amazing is a few people have commented on how the difference in colour. Well, actually, they change colour all the time. So they go from red to blue to white, back to red to a bit purple. They change colour all the time depending on their mood. So at the moment...
Yeah, because he would, earlier on, he was completely sky blue. His whole head and this bit here was all perfectly blue.
So yeah, so this is their little house. They'll be moving soon into their outdoor accommodation as the weather gets better, so they're not stuck inside. And they've got like but they're like not, almost like a run, haven't they?
They're free rangers,
yeah,
aren't they?
Oh no, they come out every morning. And if I don't let them out on time at 8:30, the noise they make. So yeah, so they're. I didn't think we'd ever have two turkeys so attached.
He's blue on top of his head and he's red. But that will just—it's amazing, and it's within seconds, isn't it?
You'll notice that's changed in the time that we've been in the camera. They are special. Rue loves them, as do we, actually. You can't say anything anymore. I used to be able to shout to Nick. He'd say, "Jen, do you want a cup of coffee?" And I'd go, "Yeah." And now if he goes, "Jen," all you hear is blah blah blah, and then I go, "Yeah," and they go blah blah blah. So now we just walk up to each other and talk. There's no point in trying to communicate when there's two turkeys here.
Or that little sneezing in the background.
Yeah, the sneezing all the time. And the vibrating of the feathers all the time.
But they're cool.
They're very, very cool. I think the best thing we did in a long time. Love them to pieces, and Rue spends hours, doesn't he, sitting in here with them.
Yeah, no, they're good.
They want to come out now.
They are peculiar in a very beautiful sort of way, and the more you look at them, the more, especially when you watch their colour change and how they are, it's just fascinating, because I've never ever studied a turkey, but by having them, it's opened up a whole new world.
It certainly has. Someone's just said don't get peacocks. Well, we're supposed to be picking up a peacock, aren't we? That needs a home in a month. Well, beginning of April. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one.
I'm just saying. There's okay.
But for now, we'll just
That's
enjoy
good.
Harold and Roger. Right, so we're going to go because I can hear Grace kicking the stable and she wants her food. So, but thank you ever so much, everyone, and we shall see you very soon.
Thank you very much. We will see you. There's plenty more to be getting on with, and it's been lovely having you, and I hope you enjoyed it. So see you soon.